Gotta play Ring Around the Rosie real quick. Get this old Thunder Bomber in the shop. She's finally making the channel debut. Back to the channel, fellas, and we got these cars in the shop. Got the Thunder Bomber in here and got the stock V8 flipped around. Now we got to rob some springs off this car. I don't want to spend money on springs until I know it's going to work for me, and these cars really should be pretty similar. So I'm going to test some stuff at Lakeview this coming weekend, and hopefully we hit it on the first time, but it's kind of a rarity. So got to get the springs in the Lakeview car swapped out and kind of just figure out our starting point, what we're going to start with. So a lot of work to get done this week, but at least we have time. It's Monday, so it's not going to kill us working on this thing all week. Got to figure wheels out, tires, all that kind of stuff. Come up with what stagger we think we're going to need. And, yeah. So, basically, about to get to work. Get these things up on jack stands and see what we can figure out. All right, these are the springs I've got to work with for the rear of the car. Starting at a 150, got two different size 175s, a 185. I got two 200s, 225, a 250, and a 300. I think that 300 might be a little short and a little heavy. And the 150 is kind of calling my name and try to run some preload in it. I'm not sure how to do that on this car because I don't have a jack bolt, as you can see. right there, I got adjuster cups on the rear of it. So we're gonna pick a couple springs out here, and I actually rate all these springs on my spring smasher, and then I use a basically like a dummy shock for a modified, and then I can use my spring smasher to rate my springs on it. Pretty nifty. Now I got to get the front springs out of both these cars because I don't like the split in either one of the cars. So I'm going to try to make something neutral out of what I got, and then order what I need to make myself happy. Cut the spring perches off the rear end just to create more work for myself. Not like I gotta have this thing done for the weekend or not, but I decided to weld these adjuster cups on top of the rear end so it's a little bit easier to get to, and I went and put some just some reliefs in them so I can adjust them a little bit easier, and hopefully it'll make my life a lot easier in the future. I did this because this car, I gotta find the right shock mounts for the stock mount shocks. Right now it's got some weird stuff, so it's hard to get them off without taking the trailing arms loose. So I'm just gonna go and make it. I might go back and make myself a spanner wrench of some sort if I can find something big enough, because this is, I guess it's a 5.5 inch cup, but this is what we're going with for right now, and we're gonna get these things welded on real quick. We're wrapping it up tonight. I got the adjuster cups on the top of the rear end instead of on top of the springs. That should make it a little bit easier to adjust the ride height. I wish I would have just put some jack bolts in it, but it is what it is now. I didn't want to cut the car up too much. I just knew I didn't have time to do it. So we're that, and I wanted this car to still be able to drop back to a Thunder Bomber if for some reason the rules were to change at some point. So trying to keep everything in mind, and I know I can do the same thing with spring adjustable spring cups. So that's what I got on the rear of this thing. Got the rear springs in the car picked out. Called Dad, kind of talked things over, and we're actually going to leave the front springs in this car alone. I don't know how, I'm not used to running a heavier spring on the right front than the left front, but I don't know. It'll should help free the car up on entry. I'm sorry. It's actually going to tighten the car up on entry, but we made a educated guess to free the car up on entry with the right rear spring. So we went a little stiffer on the right rear to kind of compensate, but Lakeview, if you run the track right, you can carry a lot of momentum there, and he's thinking that I need a heavier spring on the right front. I'm going to give it a shot. If anything, I might swap the springs and see what that does, but the scale numbers won't lie. So we're going to get this thing on the scales hopefully Wednesday night so we can get everything else wrapped up with this thing. I got to get fuel for the car, and there's nowhere really around here to get fuel, so I'm gonna send Taylor after some tomorrow. Hopefully she can go get me some. So anyhow, there might be a place around here, I just don't know where it is. Still kind of new down here, but anyhow, we're about to go inside, take a shower, take us a nap, wake up bright and early in the morning, and head back to work. And then tomorrow night, it's movie night, so we'll have a break on tomorrow, and then we'll be back out here Wednesday. All right, we're getting back out here in the shop. Going to get the front springs changed out. Really, I'm just swapping them from side to side. It's got a heavier right front spring than the left front, and I like being a hillbilly and doing it backwards. But real quick, we're gonna do something new to the channel. Taylor's gonna give, what are we gonna call it?
I have no idea.
Wednesday movie updates. There we go. All right.
Yeah, so we went to the movies yesterday. Tuesday's always our date night. And we went and watched How to Make a Killing. It had Glenn Powell in it. And, you know, if you watch movies at all, he plays in a lot of stuff that comes out recently. And he's always a really good actor. So anything with him in it's always pretty good. So, yeah, if y'all have some downtime or just want to go for a date night, go check out How to Make a Killing. It was really, really good. But yeah, go check it out. I'm going to give you guys a little update. Doug was working on the car and we found 2 bent upper ball joints. So we're currently on our way to Advance in town to get some new ones.
A couple issues on the front end. Found 2 bent upper ball joints on this thing, so we had to run to the parts store and we stopped to get a bite to eat, and now it's kind of got laid on me. I got the front end back together, got my steering squared up, swapped the springs around. So now, before I can put this thing on the ground and get it ready for the scales, I gotta flip 6 of these tires. 5 of these tires. I gotta flip them. Got 3 that I need to demount because I'm not gonna use the wheels. And I'll probably use those to steal tires and wheels off the Camaro and just put some junk tires I got on these wheels. That way I still have those wheels and tires mounted or whatnot. Yeah. A lot of work to get done. We got 2 more days to get this thing done. So, we're going to give it hell and try to get this thing knocked out. It's my bedtime. It's actually past my bedtime. Yet again, missed another race, but it's more important to get this car done than watch a race. Wish I had this thing a lot closer than I did right now. I was really hoping to get it on the ground tonight and go through the front end, but I had to make an hour-and-a-half trip to town, and Taylor wanted to go get the dog some toys, so we went and got them some toys on our way to the parts store. And by the time we got back home, we basically spent an hour and a half, 2 hours out. Time to get away from you when you're having fun. So it's one of those things you can't really plan for, but I kind of figured I'd have some ball joints or something bent on this car just because it has been raced. And I'm glad I checked them. I was really surprised that the lowers weren't bent too, and I'm glad I didn't have to change those. Even though I do have a ball joint press, it just wouldn't have been any fun. So, anyhow, I gotta take the good with the bad, roll with the punches, and we'll get this thing done one way or another. But just might not have the video of us actually setting this car on scales. We'll get a video out on Friday. Well, you'll see this on Friday, and that's where we're at. So, hopefully I can get this thing down on the ground and get it on some scales and get it ready for Saturday. The reason I gotta flip all these tires is these retreads, they have a sharp edge and a rolled edge. And I've always been told and I've always heard that the sharp edge needs to go towards the infield, so you're not sliding against it so it doesn't take the recap off of it. So that's why I got to flip all these wheels. All my bead locks are mounted wrong. So it sucks, but it's kind of one of those deals where it is what it is, and kind of just you gotta get it right. So we're gonna take the time and do it right. No sense in slapping this thing together to go half-assed to a racetrack. So anyhow, we're gonna shut it down for tonight, and we'll be back out here tomorrow and Friday and probably Saturday morning too. All right, so back out here. I gotta get my hair cut. Anyhow, before I went and got my hair cut, when I got home from work, I was able to get all the lead that I left on the Camaro. I didn't realize I left on. I got it all off, and I got the wheels and tires off of it because I'm gonna practice on those, and then it'll save me a little bit of time. And I know they're already staggered where I want them, so I don't want to burn up good tires just practicing. But you know, I'm cheap, so we're gonna get these things. I'm gonna go ahead, put air back in them, make sure the stagger's still right before I put it on the scales, because that can affect your scale numbers. And tires are obviously the most important piece of the race car, in my opinion. It's the only thing that actually touches the racetrack. So, want to make sure they're right, and then I'll start going through the front end, and hopefully we can get this car on the scales tonight, or at least get on my lead weighed, so I can. I've already weighed all that lead, but I have another pile in the back of the shop that I need to weigh and mark how heavy they are, so it'll just make my life a lot easier in the long run. Alright, now that I got the car back down on the ground, I'm going to take and I'm going to run a string off jack stands from the rear tire here and up here to the right front. Don't judge my wheels and tires, they're nasty, they're ugly, I don't care. We're just going to go practice on these, but we're going to square the car up now. I've already gone underneath and squared the I squared the pitman arm with the idle arm and the center link, so I know we're square there. I marked it. Now we gotta adjust the right front in, because I like to tow my left front out. But we're gonna get in here and basically square the right front to the left or the right rear, and way we know we're square. That's gonna do it for this video. I didn't get the car on the scales like I wanted to, but it's alright. I'll do that tomorrow night, and then we're gonna take this thing to Lakeview on Saturday and practice it. The front end kind of give me a couple side roads to take, so I had to chase a couple rabbit holes, and got it all lined out. And yeah, it's been a while since I've set caster the old school way instead of just using an angle finder. So, yeah, it kind of took me a minute. But anyhow, we're gonna get this thing out to the racetrack, and hopefully she turns left and goes fast and all that kind of stuff. So
All right, yeah, so as always, we have the checker brunette looking good on the car. Message me or my business page, the checker brunette. We're on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I can do any kind of custom racing apparel that you might want. We even do some accessories like send and car freshies, koozies, just some neat things like that. And we are doing Doug's Nothing But Dirt merch through our business page, the Checker Brunette business page. So if you're wanting some Nothing But Dirt merch, make sure to get with me about that. Yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff.
We'll check y'all on the next one.